Hi everybody, my name is Scott Walls. For over 25 years, I've deployed ERP applications for some of the world's largest organizations. During that time, I've taught thousands of people just like you how to discover, use, deploy, and support Oracle's back office software. In this lesson, I'm going to walk through the negotiation application. Please note that this lesson is part of the negotiation course found within the Procurement functional area under the Discover menus. But before we get started, did you know that you could earn free discovery badges for display on your LinkedIn profile just by watching videos like this one? You can. Stay until the end of this video and I will show you how. Okay, so let's get started. Key topics for this lesson are as follows: seated user for this application, navigation for this application, the application homepage, application transactions, and then finally, transaction search options, both basic and advanced. Now, before we jump in, it's worth noting that Discover videos focus on what an application does. If you want to learn how to use and/or how to deploy this application, then watch the videos under those menus. Okay, so let's jump into Oracle Cloud. All right, so first thing we said we'd show you, seated user for this application. So you see that right here. I'm logged in as Calvin Roth, and his role is a procurement manager. Next, navigation for this application. So I'm logged into Calvin's homepage. So what I want to do is I want to select the procurement functional area, and then I will select the negotiations application. All right, now, once I'm at the application, I'm on this application homepage. For negotiations, this is a typical transaction homepage where it deals a lot by giving you the data by status, by dollars, recent activity, and then things you need to look at or may need to look at. So with that, let's take a quick look. You can see here's my negotiations, but it gives them by different statuses, which you can see on the bottom. This is going to take you to the basic search page, but threaded by the status that you select. My performance, so this is just, in this case, is just the difference between the rec line and the award line, up or down. And so again, more information. Whenever you see these flip or double arrows, then you can just flip that tile over and you can get access to more information here. Nice, easy. And then when you see color like this, color like this, color like this, this is where you can jump into either negotiations, or in this case, programs here. And then lastly, before we do, seeing some other highlighting, again, active negotiations, etc. So this is the application homepage. If you haven't already watched the personalization video, you can take different tiles, move them on or off the application homepage. You can refresh them just by clicking this particular refresh icon here. So we've talked about seated user, we've navigated here, we've looked at the home page. Now, what transactions can we create? Well, that's where you get into this task panel menu here. So going backwards, this negotiation calendar is something that's pretty unique to just negotiations. So when you open this, it gives you the different negotiations that are coming up. And so you can see and change the different looks all across the top here. So that's the calendar. This is pretty typical. And so if there are particular reports that you want to run or analytics, they need to be assigned to you, but you would access them here, either your folders of what you've created or what's been shared with you. Next up, recent. So all of the different recent ones that you have gone through and accessed. There's a search that you can do. And then lastly, there is this task panel. So again, most often the task panel is just showing you transactions or setup. There's two transactions that this particular user, Calvin, procurement manager, has access to. One is all the negotiations, so how to create it, how to manage them, a little bit more about negotiations. Then there's this idea of programs. Programs are just a way to link different negotiations, usually within like a category or a grouping of categories around an objective, soft or hard, meaning monetary or not monetary. Then you have surrogate responses. So if I get a response that I have to add it in, and some other fields, delete negotiations. And then we've talked about this research suppliers, particularly in qualifications. So it's a really nice page where you can go search through suppliers based on a lot of different values. Deliverables here, it's just the ability to manage them. So deliverables are really compliance tasks, whether it's compliance to a sourcing event, compliance to a contract. This is the procurement view of these deliverables. If they've been assigned to a supplier, then the supplier would also see those deliverables through the supplier portal page. More on that in that particular video. And then there's a few setup tasks as well around templates, or these attributes and cost factors are particular evaluation criteria on the line level of a negotiation. So that's a little bit about the transactions that are there and how to get to them. The last thing we want to take a look at is the transaction search option. So I could easily select manage negotiations. I could also take any of these particular graphics with color, and it takes me to the same page. So right now I'm in manage negotiations, just a different way to get there. Now what's important though is I asked for everything that had a status of draft, and it's important because you have to know that if you think, oh, I only see draft, you have to remember to come in and reset so you can see all the statuses inside here, do a search, and then obviously this is going to change. So this is the basic search. Now, if I wanted to make this search more advanced, sorry, this is the advanced search. Let's go back here really quickly and take a look at basic. So it looks like we got 8 different fields, right? And I can set these to whatever I want. I need to set at least one of the fields with double asterisks, which it looks like I have, and that's why I've got values. But if I want to search on different fields, then I'd go ahead and the advanced search. So the advanced search, in addition to just giving me more fields, it also gives me the ability to add other fields. And once I pull those fields in, I can remove them again, or I can add different criteria in here. I can also take those extra fields, slim down the search to just the data I want. I can save that, and then I can even set my page to automatically show that data to me. So it's just a different way to filter your information. And so lastly, when I do get results, if I wanted to make some changes to these results, or rather slim it down even more, I could put some high order filters here and say, oh, I only want to see the RFQs or what have you, right? That's just a different way I could slim this information down if I wanted to. I can also push this data out to Excel, so this becomes more like a report that I can create as well. If I felt like I wanted to add or remove different columns, I could do so there. And then lastly, if you figure, well, there's another way I can export to Excel, and you can see I can reassign the owner, etc. So some different functions down here within search. So we talked about the seated user, Calvin Roth, as usual, navigating the application homepage, the transactions that are available, and even that whole task panel is even down to the calendar. And then lastly, we showed some different transaction search options, basic, advanced. We showed how to save it, how to reset the default information that you see, as well as how to set the data in the section, add, remove columns, and even push out to Excel. So that's it for this particular application walkthrough. Hopefully I've shown you something you didn't know and you learned just a little bit. Thank you for watching. Okay, as promised, here are the 5 steps you can perform today to start earning free badges for your LinkedIn profile. Step 1, navigate to Panameer.com and either sign in or join now. It's free. Step 2, in the upper left, under the Discover menu, select the course that you want to watch and get badged for. Step 3, watch all of the different video lessons in that course. Step 4, when it's complete, send your LinkedIn profile and the course you watched and your user ID to badges@Panameer.com. And then sit back and wait for Step 5 when we attach a badge to your LinkedIn profile.